Hey everybody, what's up guys? Welcome back to our last lesson on linear inequations and inequalities. Yay! Don't get so yay though. This lesson will get very challenging if one, you're required to take this lesson. I wasn't really required to take this lesson even though it was in the Algebra 1 curriculum and the textbook I read. But it's absolute value inequalities today. If you don't know, if you need a refresher on compound inequalities, please go check my previous video on compound inequalities. Look at the stuff in there, and then come back once you're ready to solve absolute value inequalities. But if you're ready, then let's get started. Alright, so we learned how to solve absolute value equations. We had to split it into two different equations. Alright, so today we are actually going to have to learn how to solve absolute value inequalities, which also involves splitting into two parts. So I'm going to turn on my equation setting on. Alright. So let's say we have the inequality that looks like this. Alright, so notice that we have a less than sign. It can be less than or equal to, and as well. But if you have anything with the arrow pointing to the left, it will be split into two inequalities. It will be split into this. And notice the and part. That's why I told you guys to review compound inequalities if you feel like you need them. Alright, so it's absolute value of ax plus b is greater than negative c. Notice that we flipped the symbol and made c negative. And then we keep the sign for c. I should not have put the absolute value stuff in. But anyways, if you have an absolute value inequality with the arrow pointing to the left, you must split it up into these two inequalities. Allow me to show you how it works. Let's say you have something like this. X minus 3 is less than or equal to 6. Alright, so like absolute value equations, we need to split this into two parts. Note, because this arrow is pointing to the left, we need to split this up into an and inequality. So here's the first one. We're going to flip the sign and make 6 negative. Round it together with the and put in the second part. That was not what I was supposed to put down. Alright, now we simply solve each of them. Add 3 to both sides, we get x is greater than negative 3. And x is less than 9, because we're adding 3 to each side. Now notice that this is pretty much the informal version of the inequality that we're trying to write. So we need to combine the two. So we have to put x in the middle and make sure all arrows are pointing to the left. We put the lesser value on the left side, smallest value on the left side, less than or equal to x, less than or equal to, that's not the symbol, 9. Alright, so that's how you solve absolute value inequalities. Now, I'm not going to show you how to graph them today, but your teachers may still ask that. that you graph the solutions. So if you feel like you need a refresher on graphing compound inequalities, please go check my previous video on that, okay? Alright, in the meantime, try one on your own. On your own. Let's have you do 4x minus 8 is less than 32. Alright, so why don't you go ahead and work this out on your own. Pause the video, come back, work this out, come back when you think you got the right solution. Okay, so we have the absolute value of 4x minus 8 set to be less than 32. We need to split this up into two parts. Flip the symbol and make 32 negative. Join the two inequalities with and. And then the second inequality, just get rid of the parentheses. Absolute value. Okay. Add 8 to both sides for each inequality. Negative 32 plus 8 equals negative 24. 32 plus 8 is 40. Divide both sides by 4. We get x to be greater than negative 6. And x to be less than 10. And remember, we got to combine the inequalities together because, well, this is informal. So we need to put the smallest value on the left side, less than x, less than 10. And there you have it. That's our solution to this inequality right here. Now, I want you to take a look at this equation, inequality. Is it possible to solve this inequality? If you remember the definition of absolute value, then you can figure out that the answer is no. By definition, the absolute value of an expression will always be positive. Therefore, the absolute value cannot be less than 0. So really, this inequality has no solution. Alright, now let's get to the second part. Now we're going to be taking a look at inequalities with a greater than or equal to symbol. This has a different rule to it. We continue to split this up into two inequalities and flip the symbols and C value and you do the opposite for C. This time we're combining the inequalities with the word or. And then just write out the rules like this. Pretty interesting, huh? Alright. I'm going to show you how this works. 3x minus 2 is greater than 4. Alright, so we have a greater than symbol. That means we need to follow this rule right here. Follow this rule right here. Alright, so we split this up into two parts. Flip the symbol, make 4 negative. Join the inequalities with the word or is greater than 4. Add 2 to each side. 3x and less than negative 4 plus 2 equals negative 2. And 4 plus 2 equals 6. Divide each side by 3. and we have negative 2 over 3, or x is greater than 2. And that's pretty much simplified because we're working with OR inequalities. We do not need to combine these any further. So this is our solution set. Why don't you try one on your own? This lesson is pretty short today, guys. So this is going to be your second to last inequality that you're going to have to work with. Alright, so how about I give you, actually I'm going to give you a more challenging one to solve. So I will tell you that you are going to need to make sure that you isolate this absolute value term first before you decide to go and solve this. Okay? So, not less than, greater than. Then how about we set it to 12? Set it to 12. Actually, I'm going to fool you a little bit. Alright, there we go. So there you have it. Now you have your final inequality for the entire unit. Yay! And that's a hard one. So I want you to really think this through before you try and solve this, okay? So pause the video, think it through slowly, and then solve it. And remember, the goal is to get the absolute value expression by itself before you split this thing up. Alright, so we have 2 times absolute value of negative 4x minus 8 plus 4, set it to be greater than or equal to 12. So, we are going, so this is kind of like a two-step equation where we need to get this by itself. In order to do that, we first need to subtract 4 on both sides. (12 minus 4 equals 8). Divide both sides by 2. And you'll have absolute value negative 4x minus 8 is greater than or equal to 4. And now we're ready to split this. So we're going to set this to negative 4x minus 8 is less than or equal to negative 4. Join the inequalities with the word or. Use the greater than symbol, not less than. Why does it keep doing that on me? Small buttons, I swear. Now we solve each one of these. Negative 4x. Negative 4 plus 8 is less than or equal to... Ooh, missed the x. And then negative 4x, 4 plus 8 equals 12. And then divide each side by negative 4. Remember the rule with dividing by negative numbers, though. We need to flip the signs. So we need to set x to be greater than or equal to negative 1. Or we can set it to x to be less than or equal to negative 3. And that's it. Now for the last inequality of the entire unit. So, this is another one of those processing ones I'm about to give you. You have, let's say you have something like this. Now, is there any way that you can solve this and use this with the rules? You can, but I will tell you, there's really no need for you to do it. Remember the absolute value definition is that the absolute value must always be positive. And because it must always be positive, it must be greater than -2. So, for this inequality, we have an infinite number of solutions. And the last word, we did it! Alright, yay! Alright, so that concludes what your foundation baseline for algebra. So we're now going to move on to linear functions. I'm going to create a new playlist. Yes, I've been making playlists. I have one for linear equations and inequalities. All these right now. And I'm about to make a new one for linear functions. So I hope that my videos so far have helped you, and be sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos. If you really like this video, please share with your friends. I would like everyone to help out as much as possible, to get help from me as much as possible. That is why I will tell you that research has shown that only 7% of United States high schoolers actually found math to be their true passion. High school math is pretty hard, which is why standardized test scores have been very low. Our school is only 37%. And so that is why I would like to help you as much as possible. Okay? So anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys, and have an amazing rest of your day. Can't wait to see you for the next unit. Alright, bye.